Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to talk about one of the most well-known financial products that all of us, and I mean it, all of us, have at least heard about it at some point in our lives. It is credit card. And also there is another financial product called a debit card, which also everybody must have knowledge about. But this particular video is more about credit cards and how to use credit cards more effectively and the common myths which I want to disregard that people have about the same. So whenever I talk to my friends or any people who just have a brief overview about credit cards who are not using the same, they pose a question that like you make your transactions through credit cards, you must be paying a lot of interest and a lot of hidden costs, a lot of charges we personally don't want to bear, so we are not using the same. Now, that is a myth which I want to disregard through this video. And I also want to help people understand how you can make use of such an important financial product as per my belief. And what if I tell you that you can make free money out of credit cards? It's good, right? If I explain you the process, how can you effectively use credit cards? So this video is particularly about the same, the process of how to go about it. So let's start. So firstly, let me just explain how this principle of credit card works. Let's say, for example, you want to buy something and you don't have money at hand. Let's say you're a salaried person and you know that you will be getting a salary at the end of a period, like every month we get salary credited at the end of the month, or however it is as per your employer. So you know that you want to buy a product but you do not have money right now, so you use the credit card to swipe it, or any online transaction as well, and you can get the product easily and then you can pay for it later. So this later that you're paying, that is the credit period that is provided to you by the credit card company, and this is an interest-free period. Let's say, for example, if you did not have credit cards, you would have to actually take a loan. Loan, there can be prominently three types of loans, like home loan. Home loan has interest around 7% per annum, roughly around 7% per annum. Educational loan has interest roughly around 10 to 11%, and personal loan, which exactly you can use in substitution of the credit card to buy the products that you want to, has actually higher interest. So the one benefit of credit card is that you do not have to pay any interest for the interest-free period, and you can buy your product of your own choice and you can pay for it later. Now, this interest-free period is generally around 45 days. Let's say if you're buying a product, you want to buy a product on the 1st of December. So you will get a period of 45-day cycle from the beginning of the month in which you're buying the product. Let's say you will have to pay the bill by the 15th of January if you're buying a product on 1st December. Now, it may be the case that you do not actually want to buy a product on 1st of every month. You can buy it on the 15th of December, and also you can buy a product on the 30th of December. So if you're buying a product at the end of the month, you will get a shorter time, let's say 15 days. And if you're buying a product in the middle of a month, so you will get 30 days. So on an average, let me just consider that you're getting a credit period of 30 days. That is also a good enough time to get for an interest period to hold good. So now let's say, for example, this monthly cycle that I want to talk about is that every month your bill will be generated and you have to pay the bill at the end of the interest-free period, and post which you'll have to pay extra, which I'll come to later when I talk about the risks of credit card. Obviously, there are going to be pros and cons of every product. So credit card has its own cons, but definitely the pros will outweigh the cons. So just stay with me till the end of the video. This is the concept of interest-free period and the monthly cycle about credit card. Now, how to make money out? Like when I say how can I make money through credit cards, what do I exactly mean is that, let's say, for example, you want to buy a mobile phone, a very expensive mobile phone, say, which costs around 1 lakh. Every month, you may not want to buy a mobile phone, but you will buy something or the other, right? And let's say you know that I will make purchases of 30,000 or 40,000. Now, when you are using a credit card instead of a debit card, by using a debit card, the money will be instantly deducted from your bank account. But by using a credit card, the benefit that you're getting is that you have to pay it at the end of the interest-free period, at the end of the billing cycle, whatever the period is. It depends from bank to bank, but it is roughly around the range of 40 to 45 days, as I discussed. So if you are deducting the money, if you're using a debit card and the money is getting deducted from your bank account immediately, let's say on the 1st of December only you are purchasing, now your bank account has the balance in your savings account has reduced to that extent. Now the interest that you're earning on your savings bank account for 1 month will be paid on the lesser amount since the money got deducted. And let's say, for example, let's just hypothetically assume the case of 1 lakh and banks giving you an interest of 5%, savings banks offering you interest of 5%, though it is quite lower, but just to make the calculation simpler, I'm sticking to 5%. and by using a credit card, the 1 lakh would not have been deducted from your bank account, and that 1 lakh would have stayed in your bank account, and you would get interest on that. So that is a loss of, if you're using a debit card instead of a credit card, or any way by which you're paying through your bank account, you are losing an interest of 5% is per annum interest. So that will be around 5,000, and 5,000 monthly amount would roughly be around 417. Yeah, roughly around 400, let's say, for example. So you are earning money of 400, earning interest of 400 on that amount, which you would not have earned if you would have used a debit card, if the money would have instantly been deducted from your bank. So this is known as opportunity cost of money, which I prominently, it is goes par with the financial principles and all that, which we need to keep in mind whenever we are making any financial decision, that we need to consider the opportunity cost of making a decision. So this is the opportunity cost of choosing a debit card over a credit card, that you would lose interest for 1 month. Now, what like in other way that you can make money out of credit cards is that you get rewards. The credit card, the banking companies that offer credit cards, the financial companies that offer you credit cards, they give you rewards. They want you to make use of the credit cards to the most extent possible, and then give you rewards for making purchases to a greater extent. So let's just, on an average, it is around 1% of the purchases that you make. So considering the 1 lakh example, if you earn 1% reward, so that is around 1,000 rupees, and 400 you earned extra by putting it in your savings bank account. Like if you would have used a debit card, you would not have gotten the same. So 1,400 rupees you're earning without paying any interest on the amount that you have swiped to purchase your product. So 1,400, it is just like free money, right? You're not paying any interest for the purchase of credit card or purchase of a product, and you're also earning 1,400 rupees. It's not that bad, right? But also it appears too good to be true, right? Why would companies want you to use their funds? They would want to block their funds and not earn anything out of it. So yeah, there are risks to credit card as well, and I would like to point out why companies are willing to offer such services. Also, before talking about that, let me just come to one option that I would like to suggest to all of you. There is an option of auto sweep in your bank account. Any savings bank account would have that option. So whenever you know that you are initiating a transaction through credit card, that money is not being deducted from your bank account. So you can automatically create or a sweep deposit that is being provided by the bank accounts, and you can earn interest more than the savings bank account. The 5% amount that I mentioned, if you create a sweep, that account will be, the amount will be debited, will be deposited into a fixed deposit account, and you would earn more interest greater than 5%. So the opportunity cost will be higher of not using a credit card. So you can earn more than 1,400 rupees, assuming the 1 lakh rupees example. So this is something which I also want to advise you, that you can enable the same. Now, coming to the fact that why the companies are willing to offer you such services, they are like, please use the credit card, please use it to the maximum extent possible, please make good use of it. So the reason behind this is that, if you, as I talked about the interest rates mentioned earlier, now the thing is that on the interest, if you do not pay the amount at the end of the billing cycle in credit cards, is very high. It's around 40 to 45%, which is around 3 times the amount that you're paying for a educational loan, and around 6 to 7 times, let's say for example, of the amount that you're paying for a home loan. And roughly, so what I'm trying to say is that it is a big amount of interest than what you would have paid if you would have taken a loan. So these credit card companies want people to forget to pay their amount. So let's say, for example, the people who should use a credit card should be disciplined. They should be really disciplined individuals who know how to pay, how much amount to spend, and how much amount they would be able to pay. Because of some lackadaisical nature of people, what they tend to do is that they know that some amount will be credited into their bank account at the end of the month in the form of the salary, or whatever manner the payments that they are supposed to receive. They know, they're aware of the fact that they're like, we will get the money, let's just spend it and we'll pay it later. But for some reason, for some misfortune, the amount does not get credited, and your goals are not met, your targets are not achieved, and you're not being able to pay the amount that you spend. So that is where that is what credit card companies want, and they want you to default, and so that they can earn so much of a higher interest on that amount on which you could not pay. And remember, if the due date is on the 15th, let's say, for example, exceptional cases where the grace period is provided. If you do not pay the amount at the end of the credit cycle, you would have to, let's say, for example, you paid on the 16th of January. The billing date was, the due date was 15th of January and you paid it on 16th. You will not pay interest on just one day, like 15 to 16. You will pay interest on the whole credit cycle for which you utilize the money, utilize the funds of the company whose credit card you're using. So you can, so by giving loans, they would have earned lesser interest, but by providing credit card, they are getting a higher interest. And this is what credit card companies want, because we come across people who are that kind of people who are not disciplined, and that is where credit card companies make money. And also the income of credit card companies is through POS machines. There is some charges, some commission deducted, and on the amount that the company remits to the shopkeeper from which you're purchasing. And that is why you will find a lot of shopkeepers, they will insist on not using credit cards. But nowadays everything is so digitally enabled that people in this era of digitalization and globalization, everybody has to adopt to the same. And also you will find a lot of shopkeepers placing limits that even if you only purchase amount of goods of rupees 1,000, then only we will allow you to swipe a credit card to make the transaction. And because they will not benefit out of a small transaction, since the most of the amount will be deducted by the credit card companies. So the thing is that this is how credit card companies make money, and this is exactly why they want to allow people to use their credit cards and provide such good facility. Obviously, everybody is here to make money. Now, the thing is, if one more benefit of credit card is that if you want to apply for a loan at some future point, and you're using a credit card and you're paying your monthly bills time to time, your credit score will improve, and that will help you get a good amount of loan, the amount of loan that you require at some point in your life, which otherwise you would not have been able to get, given the fact that you do not have a credit score generated because of not having something which could help you in generating the credit score, or by some way or the other, which, so basically it is going to help you develop your credit score. Now, a lot of people ask me this question that I have a very low credit score. So how do I get a credit card? Because credit card companies do not want to give it to people who have low credit score. The primary reason being people would run away. Obviously, they have their own mechanism of getting the money. There are people who do provide the service, the recovery agents, whatever it is. But obviously, it is difficult to catch hold of people, and it's a botheration for the company. So they try to give it only to people who have a good credit score, so that they have a good probability of success of getting the money recovered, and who are sure, by which they will be sure that they will get the money. Now, the thing is that there is a concept called covered credit card. What is covered credit card is that, let's say, for example, you have a 1 lakh FD. So you will be issued a credit card with the limit of 1 lakh, and your FD will be covered against it. It will cover for your defaults. So if you do not, if you fail to pay the loan, your amount will be taken from the FD and your FD will be withdrawn. So that is something, that is the concept of covered credit card. And this process actually helps you to become disciplined, because you know that if I do not pay, if I overspend, my FD would go into the hands of the credit card company. And that is why we are generally like, we want to protect our assets. So we become disciplined. Like, let me not spend so much of an amount. Let me just restrict myself because my FD is concerned. So this automatically helps you become a more disciplined person. Now, how to, how to select the credit limit that you want for your credit card. You must be hearing that people have 80,000 limit, 50,000 limit. That depends upon your monthly income, and that is also not specifically, decided by you. It is decided by the credit card company. By seeing your income, they will ask for your salary slips and everything, and any document by which they will verify your employment status and everything. They will see what are your incomes, what are your expenses. Are you actually having any other credit cards for which you have to pay bills? Are you having any other loans? They will check your credit score through CIBIL and all that process, and they will determine a limit for you. And accordingly, you can have a credit card that you can make use of to make yourself good money and help yourself in the long run. So this is basically the concept of credit card. Of course, it has its own cons, but definitely if you use it wisely, there's nothing a better instrument than a credit card. It can help you manage your money. It can help you earn free money, which I demonstrated previously in this video. So yeah, this is not some promotional video to promote credit cards, but I wanted to make people understand like how you can use effectively and how you can manage your finances. And this is one of the best way, if you can be a disciplined individual, to get hold of a credit card and use it wisely. So thank you very much for sticking till the end of the video. I hope it was informational. Thank you so much.